would be one case. Another possible case of a resolution of a secondary chord would be a kind of specialized one. That would be in the case of, let's say, a 5/7 of 5. Voices. Where it would resolve, instead of to 5, it would resolve to a 1/6/4, and then to a 5. Now again, this makes sense, because remember this combination is like all one unit. It is the 5 chord. But you can still do that. So you could resolve a 5 of 5 to a 1/6/4 and still have it work. Oops, not 1/6/4 yet. So you'd still want to resolve the leading tone up, but the 7th is going to be delayed, but eventually it will resolve down to become the 3rd of the 5 chord. Does that make sense? So remember before we said, like the 7th of the chord is always going to resolve down by step to the 3rd of the following chord. In this case, the resolution of the 7th is delayed until it really does become the 5 chord itself. So this is almost like a suspension. I think it's another good reason to point out to this sort of unit thing, and the correct resolution of that 4th. Wait, what did I do? No, wait.
Skipped over the.
I need a 3rd. I need a 3rd. Yeah.
You can't omit 3rd in that case, right?
That's what it was. 2 roots, 2 fifths.
But no 3rd. It's like having ice cream without the whipped cream on top.
Yeah, or even, I would say it's not even ice cream. It's more like having the cone and the ice cream in it. But so if I had 2/4, it would sound like this. Just a couple open fourths. No, but so this is that progression. This is the 5 of 5, resolving to 1/6/4, 5.
Now you're omitting the 5th there.
I'm off my game today.
Come on, 3rd and 5th. What's going on, man?
I know, what's so hard, man? Root 3rd and 5th. Okay, so 5/7 of 5 to 1/6/4, 5, and then eventually. But that would be another possibility. And again, that's the logic is there. The 1/6/4 is just a delay of the arrival of the 5. And so you really are resolving 5 of 5 to 5. It's just going to take a while.
Is that
That's a suspension.
Yeah, this is
Gone now.
like a suspension, really.
what kind of 6/4 would you say that is?
A cadential suspension, yeah.
Yeah, that's always conventional.
But yeah, so we were talking about non-chord tones the other day. This you can really see. I mean, this is like a non-chord tone, right? This is a suspension, classic, held over note, resolved down by step. So, when you think about, this is a chord, but this is also voice leading going on. This is also horizontal, 4 horizontal melodic lines working together to form these harmonies, and so that can be also thought of as that way, as a non-chord tone. And then finally, the trickiest non-res. Oh no.
Yeah, it's gonna come out anyways.
What?
It's gonna come out anyways.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, all right. The trickiest non-resolution of a secondary dominant would be instead to resolve it to its deceptive resolution. So it'd be the deceptive resolution of a secondary dominant. Stay with me here. So if I have 5 of 5, which is working in the key of G major essentially, right? This D dominant 7th is the dominant 7th in the key of G. To what chord would it resolve deceptively in the key of G?
E.
E, right? It resolved to 6, which would be an E minor triad. So if I wanted to resolve this secondary dominant deceptively, I could do the same thing. I could move it up like this. Only in the case of the C major, the C, it would be a 3 chord. And so we would call that the deceptive resolution of the secondary dominant. And don't forget, in a deceptive resolution, you're going to double the third of the deceptive chord. That's the most common thing.
Okay, I'm totally lost.
Okay, sorry.
So when you're talking about the deceptive, right, you're talking about the 5 to 6, the deceptive progression?
Right, deceptive
Okay.
progression,
So
yeah.
if we're in C, I'm not sure why E is the target, what becomes the,
Well, because you gotta jump out and think in the key of G for a minute, because really what you're, let me just rewrite this a bit. When you're doing this thing and you're writing 5 of 5 to, so let's say 5, okay? So you're writing this in the key of C, would be 5 of 5 to 5, right? Okay, you're thinking sort of temporarily in the key of G. This would just be 5, 7 to 1. So if I wanted to resolve this deceptively, I would do 5, 7 to 6 in the key of G, which would mean this. See?
okay?
So when you use a secondary dominant, it's like you're temporarily jumping into the other key, the key of the tonicization. And so you're thinking, if you're resolving it deceptively, you're thinking in the new key for a bit. If you like science fiction, it's like you were temporarily transported into a parallel universe,
Ooh.
just for a little bit, you know. And then or you can see into that parallel universe just for a second. You're back in your home planet.
Or home country for that matter.
In your home country.
Now, do we indicate that by writing 3 for that E, or do we write
Yeah.
6 of
No.
5?
It could be done both ways. I think in the book, actually, they have you do it like that. They'll have you write, it would be like this. How do they do it? No, you know what? I'm pretty sure that I have to check how the book works. But I'm pretty sure they just do, the way they do it is to say, they just call this 3. There's another situation where we do that. I'll get to that in a second. But I don't want to throw too much stuff at you guys. I mean, these are all, so the normal thing is the secondary dominant resolution, you know, and by far, you know, 5 of 5 resolving to 5 is just like 95% of the time. You know, that's your ordinary, everyday garden variety resolution. So I don't want to get you guys too hung up on all the exceptions, you know, because they're not that common, and especially this deceptive resolution. To have a 5 of 5 resolved to 164 is not that big a deal. To have it resolved to a new secondary chord is also possible. But to have it resolved to deceptively is that's a very small percentage of the time that something like that will happen. But it's the kind of thing Beethoven would do, to tell you the truth. He loved to do that kind of stuff because it was like he's throwing you out of the key, and then he's throwing you even further out of the key. And then he'll get you back there. You know, then he'll take 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 and go back some normal way. But for a minute there, you're like, what? And then, okay.